by this morning when I got up, they were out here taking care of business.
When you ask for help, RTV6 answers the call and gets results for you and your community.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Only on RTV6, a 13-year-old boy finds the perfect best friend in his emotional support dog. But tragedy has his family speaking out about Indiana's animal laws. Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Our Graham Hunter has the emotional story from the South Side where someone hit that boy's dog and didn't stop to help.
I loved him to the ends of the universe.
There's a special kind of love between a boy and his dog.
He would bark in his cage sometimes because he really wanted to come out.
The kind that doesn't mind a rough early morning wake-up call.
And I kind of miss it because the house is so silent now.
Kyle Maroney and his dog Jackson had an important bond.
If I had a bad situation going on, I would let him out of his cage.
Kyle's mom Carrie says he deals with anxiety attacks that Jackson could help him through.
The dog sometimes would lay on his chest if he was having a really bad attack.
That's why Saturday's events are even more difficult to deal with.
I just wish it wouldn't have happened.
Jackson was at a neighbor's house and got out. He ran toward Thompson Road. They went after him.
I heard the brakes too. I heard it happen, but I didn't think of it.
Someone hit Jackson and took off. Another neighbor got there right after it happened and took Jackson to the vet. He didn't make it.
It's heartbreaking that somebody could just leave an animal on the side of the road like that, in pain, suffering, to just die alone.
There are lessons to be learned from what happened.
There's 2 violations at hand.
Hannah Fisher is the president of Hoosier Animal Law Officers, or HALO.
It started out with the initial violation of the dog running at large, but there is some responsibility on the driver also.
In Indianapolis, anyone who hits an animal is required to notify the owner or Indianapolis Animal Care Services by calling them or law enforcement to report the location where it happened and condition of the animal.
I was even willing to pay the fine to animal control since he was out running around without his leash on.
Maroney takes responsibility for her role. Now she wants the driver to do the same.
An apology would have been great. That would have been fine with me.
And she's hoping for a change.
I don't want his death to be in vain.
Dogs are considered property in Indiana, but she wants anyone who leaves an animal to die to face a harsher consequence.
And if you don't stop and it's a hit and run, it's considered animal cruelty.
Reporting from the South Side, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Hoosier Animal Law Officers is working to strengthen animal cruelty laws in Indiana by clarifying legal definitions and potentially increasing penalties.
Working for you, pothole problems in separate communities fixed after RTV6 gets involved. Yesterday, RTV6 first showed you a picture of a pothole so big a Labrador retriever fit inside. And neighbors in College Park near the pyramid shared their frustrations on the news at 11. And the pothole looks much different now.
I don't know who saw the TV at 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock and 6 o'clock this morning about Channel 6 being out here tonight on a picture that we posted of our favorite Maggie Lab taking her bath in the mud puddles or the mud bogs. And then by this morning when I got up, they were out here.
Well, Cynthia Babb encourages her neighbors to call the Mayor's Action Hotline to report potholes. That number is 317-327-4622. And last night, we also showed you roads at Mobile Home Park in Mooresville littered with potholes. After our story aired, a spokesman for the company reached out to RTV6 and shared news pictures of the roads with us. Now, saying repaving has started and will continue until all the roads are repaired. If you have a problem and need help getting results, reach out to us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Now let's get a look at your first forecast here. And it was a great mild evening to get out, have dinner, go for a run, walk the dog, whatever you wanted to do.
Mild and dry. 24 hours from now, I think we'll have some storms around. A few may be severe. We'll get into that in a second. This is what we mean by mild. 64 in Muncie, Kokomo, 63 degrees, and Indy 3 degrees cooler than that at 60. Down to the south, you can see some temperatures in the upper 50s. Overnight, some patchy fog develops. That's really about it. Through the morning hours tomorrow, temperatures already by 9 a.m. will be back close to 60 degrees after falling into the lower 50s. Let's talk about the changes for tomorrow. This is one of them, jumping into the upper 70s for an afternoon high. As far as thunderstorm timing, 1 to 4, we begin to see some thunderstorms forming to the north. I'll finish that timeline for you. There is a slight risk for severe storms north of Indy tomorrow with a marginal or low risk in Indianapolis. Have another risk to the north on Friday. The full timeline for storms and wind temperatures reach the mid-80s coming up.
And just days after neighbors reached out to RTV6 with concerns about drivers running a stop sign on the southwest side, as you see here, a dump truck and school bus collided. The intersection at Man Road and Southport Road is more like a triangle. The dump truck driver told police their brakes failed. A witness tells RTV6 the truck was driving way too fast and did not brake until the last moment.
I heard the truck coming, and I could tell he was going fast. I could just tell. I've been out here enough, I know. So when I heard the truck coming, I looked up and I could see when he went by, I thought, he's not going to make the stop sign. He's just not.
The city tells us the Department of Public Works is in the process of the designing of a new intersection. Work on that project will not start until 2022.
This happened to me, it's probably happened to others, and it will probably continue to happen.
A woman is sharing that message after she forgot her credit card at a restaurant in Castleton. Hours later, someone tried racking up hundreds of dollars in charges. Sherry French discovered 13 attempted transactions on her credit card after leaving it at Red Lobster. She called the restaurant once she realized she left it there. Workers say they put it in a safe. Sherry says now she thinks twice about handing over her credit card.
It's going to now make me concerned that, what's happening? Is someone taking a screenshot of my credit card information? Or are they sending it to someone else? Are they retaining that information for their own use?
The Better Business Bureau says anytime your card is out of your sight, someone can write the number down, take a picture of it, or use skimming technology to copy the number. Red Lobster says it's committed to actively participating in any investigations. The BBB recommends setting up fraud alerts through your credit card companies.
Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb is preparing to hold a ceremony to sign Tammys Law. The new state legislation will help families impacted by illness. Tammy Kemp died May 5th after battling ALS, also known as Lugar's disease. She had Medicare, but because she was under 65 years old, she could not buy supplemental insurance. Her husband battled insurance companies and collection agencies over medical bills. Thanks to Tammy, other families may not have to fight that battle. She found out the bill would become law days before her death.
She started crying, and you could just tell she was so happy that something was going to come out of all this that will help people in the future.
Governor Eric Holcomb will host a ceremonial signing of Tammys Law sometime before July 1st. When it takes effect, the Kemp family will be there. Prominent politicians from around the country gathered in Indianapolis today to honor a longtime senator from Indiana. Richard Lugar served 36 years in the Senate after serving as mayor of Indianapolis. He died last month at the age of 87. Vice President Mike Pence was among those to honor his fellow Hoosier.
Perhaps the greatest monument to Dick's leadership here in Indiana is the skyline of Indianapolis and the world-class city that he leaves behind.
You can read much more about Richard Lugar's life and legacy on the IndyChannel.com.
Ivanka Trump is in Indianapolis tonight. She's set to take part in a panel discussion on job training tomorrow. Ivanka Trump, President Trump's daughter, is part of the administration's, quote, commitment to workforce development and apprenticeships. The discussion will be held at Salesforce Tower with the company's founder.
Throughout the week, we've shared with you one Hoosier's personal journey through a gender transition. You met Ryan the past 2 nights on the news at 11. Ryan is transgender, born a female. He identifies as male, and that's why we are using male pronouns. And Ryan underwent a top surgery last December at IU Health with Dr. Sive Gallagher. Dr. Gallagher is the director of the Gender Affirmation Surgery program there. Earlier this evening, she joined me in studio to answer the questions we heard from you, our viewers, in response to sharing Ryan's story. A recurring question we got was the role mental health plays in gender affirmation procedures.
First of all, as a doctor, you want to do no harm. So we have to make sure, obviously, these are oftentimes irreversible surgeries and life-changing surgeries. And obviously, we have to make sure that the patient is, one, ready psychologically for the surgery. So they have to be mentally as well as physically fit and well enough to undergo the surgery. And also, we have to make sure that we have the diagnosis right, that the patient does indeed have gender dysphoria and this is the right treatment for them. So we never take these surgeries lightly, and in undergoing screening by one or more mental health professionals, we're able to avoid regret very well.
Gotcha.
So the rates of regret tend to be very low.
Patients are required to see at least one mental health professional before patients can undergo this kind of surgery. The Gender Affirmation Surgery program has been at IU Health with Dr. Gallagher since 2015. And over the years, she has created a platform for her patients and the transgender community on social media.
One thing I've seen our patients doing is they really become ambassadors for the community. And I really admire amongst our patients, we see so much bravery. These guys and girls are proud of their identity. Oftentimes, you know, they've been through this, they've come out to themselves, their community, their family. There are some sad stories, but, you know, they've lived through that and they're proud, they're transgender, and they want to share their stories.
We provided all of the information to connect with Dr. Sive Gallagher on social media on our website on the indychannel.com. Also there, you can see our stories on Ryan's journey, plus our full interview with Dr. Gallagher this evening. And coming up in a few minutes, we're taking a look back at one of the first Indy Pride celebrations held in one of the city's most public places. The LGBTQ community faced backlash and protests, a struggle that Indy Pride says the transgender community is still dealing with today.
Culinary arts, engineering, biomedical sciences, those programs are all offered at a central Indiana school, but we're not talking about college.
That kind of car doesn't really come around too often. My dad's been there 22 years. He's only seen it one time, and that was yesterday.
An extremely rare and valuable piece of memorabilia stolen, a setup to get it back. It's not a movie plot. It happened at an Indianapolis business. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
The only name you need to know.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Another school district is taking steps to educate parents and students about e-cigarettes and prevent vaping. The U.S. Surgeon General has declared vaping a national epidemic among teens. Tonight, Clark Pleasant Community Schools hosted a community meeting to discuss the issue. The principal of Whiteland Community High School says it's a learning process for educators.
We learn every week something new, a new trick, a new technique, a new type of device, a new type of substance that they can put in these devices. And so we're actually just learning on the fly, trying to catch up just like everybody else is.
Carmel Clay Schools recently launched a program called Catch My Breath. Junior high and high school students take 4 mandatory courses in their health classes, learning what e-cigarette products look like, the toxic chemicals in them, and how to just say no.
Many Central Indiana schools are going beyond books to prepare students for the workforce. Tonight, Hiring Hoosiers goes to Lawrence Township, where the district offers several classes on biomedical sciences. The classes are among several career-related courses at the McKenzie Center. Students who are headed to college are gaining advanced knowledge and college credit.
I'm not going to the next level like blind, and like I have a sense of idea that I know what I'm doing.
This class has offered me many opportunities, such as like college credit, especially we're taking this BioL 105 class through Ivy Tech. And so for me at the University of Alabama, they're going to give me my Bio 1 and my lab for free.
The other career-based programs include cosmetology, culinary arts, engineering, and more. If you are interested in those programs for your kids, you can find more information on hiringhoosiers.com.
New at 11, a valuable baseball card is headed back to its rightful owner thanks to an alert Indianapolis business. Police say someone stole a Mickey Mantle baseball card from a shop in Ohio. The card is from 1952, Mantle's first full year with the Yankees. It's worth between $8,000 and $11,000. Sports memorabilia stores around the Midwest were alerted to this theft. So when someone called the Dugout on West Morris Street offering to sell the card, the owners told the person to come to the store.
The guy came in about half an hour later, matched up the serial numbers. My dad and I set up this little lingo per se. If it matched, he would give me a nod and I would call 911.
Wyatt McWhorter says his dad had owned the dugout for 22 years and has never seen a 1952 Mickey Mantle card. That is rare. It's that rare. Police arrested the suspect, and the card is now headed back to Ohio.
In baseball terms, they threw a curveball in that guy. They did. A little change up.
And a home run for the card back home.
Look at that.
All right, enough baseball analogies.
All right.
Let's move on to first base. As far as the temperature is concerned, we hit 72 today. That's a big deal. Finally get above 70 degrees. Next threshold, 80. Doesn't happen tomorrow, but it will in a big way as we get to Friday, Saturday, and the Sunday, 3 in a row where temperatures warm into the mid-80s on the Saturday. Warmest temperature so far in 2019 has been 81 degrees. We'll be at 78 tomorrow. Patchy fog a possibility in the morning. I'm not expecting a widespread problem, but with skies generally clear tonight and a light wind and the moist ground, that's the recipe for some fog. Temperatures mid-morning tomorrow at 65. 78, the afternoon high in Indy, 80 in Terre Haute, Bloomington, and Columbus. An increasing chance for thunderstorms to the north. We'll wait and see if this drops a little more to the south. The slight risk, the little better chance for severe storms. Monticello, Kokomo, on to Muncie and Richmond north. There's a marginal risk in the metro area. As far as the timing, not much happening through early afternoon. 1 to 4. Thunderstorms then appearing north of Indy toward Kokomo, Peru, Monticello, and Logansport. That will slide quickly south and east. A secondary line, more intense at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Kokomo, Monticello, Logansport, and Peru. That dives south and east. Clips the metro area 11 o'clock tomorrow night. That zooms away, and here comes a third that weakens as it comes through overnight into the morning hours on Friday. That's on the edge of the warmer air that's returning. As the warmer air pushes north, I think during the day Friday and Saturday, it'll push the rain threat to the north as well. As far as our severe weather threat, damaging wind would be the main threat. Some hail, and of course in this situation can never rule out an isolated tornado. Temperatures on Friday in the mid-80s, a mixture of clouds and sunshine. The better chance for any thunderstorms will be in the northern third of the state. Friday temperatures 85 in Bloomington and Columbus, just around 80 degrees, Peru and Kokomo. In the morning hours on Friday, some morning showers diving to the south and east. Those will move away. The chance of additional showers and thunderstorms is greater once you get north of Lafayette to Muncie line in northern Indiana. There are your Friday high temperatures. Into the weekend we go. Saturday, the best day of the weekend because we'll be dry. 85 degrees. Sunday, 81. Thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. It will be a windy stretch as we warm up. Right on through the weekend, we'll see winds gusting well over 20 miles per hour.
Indy Pride events kick off this weekend with Saturday's Rainbow 5K. And we're just a few weeks away from the annual Indy Pride Festival, Indiana's biggest LGBTQ celebration, and it gets bigger every year. Indy's first gay pride celebrations began in the 80s, but they weren't always out in the open. In tonight's look back through the RTV6 archives, we're taking you to June of 1990 and the first Pride celebration held at Monument Circle. Indy Pride says about 3,000 people attended the celebration, and so did dozens of protesters. Eventually, the group left. RTV6 reporter Stacia Matthews learned despite the protest, Indy's LGBTQ community held on to hope for the future.
Protesters, although it is their right, kind of put a damper on things for me personally, but they're gone now and I'm kind of at ease.
In 10 years, when someone says the Gay Pride Festival at the Circle, people are going to say no big deal. Because in 10 years, that'll the way it'll be.
Well, after that first year, the Pride celebration was held on Monument Circle just one more time in 1991. Indy Pride, Inc. was formed as a nonprofit in 1997. The annual Pride Festival has been moved to different locations over the years to accommodate the crowds. When we shared this story with the Indy Pride, the organization sent us a statement saying in part, quote, 30 years later, gay and lesbian individuals enjoy much more freedom than they did during Pride 1990. However, our transgender, non-binary, and queer family still faces oppression, harassment, and prejudice. We hope to honor the strength of those who first held Pride and stand with our trans, non-binary, and queer communities as they fight for equality, end quote. Now, this year's parade and festival take place on June 8th. The parade begins at 10 a.m. on Mass Ave, and the festival runs the rest of the day at Military Park. And these daily trips down memory lane lead up to May 30th and our 1-hour special at 7 p.m. 70 years together, working for you. You can also find more memories from former WRTV staff at the indychannel.com/70 years.
Well, time for another break, but when we come back, Day First gets back behind the wheel for another fun drive around Indy. This time, it's with 2016 500 champ Alexander Rossi, and they're stopping for a sip along the way. 2 for the road. It's only on RTV6, and it's next on the news at 11.
Footprint. Join us from 4:30 to 7.
Garfield's looking back at me wondering what I'm doing. Actually, I am too. In this installment of 2 for the Road, we're heading to Easley Winery with 2016 Indy 500 champion Alexander Rossi, who's always doing this before he climbs in a car. So I will too.
2 for the Road, sponsored by Indiana Farmers Insurance.
There he is.
What's up?
What's up, champ?
Oh, you know, nice car.
Winery. Let's go.
All right, I'm excited.
So when you first decided, hey, I want to be a race car driver, did you factor in girls at all?
As I kind of got to be a teenager and everything, my dad, he always said the same thing to me. He was like, you know, son, I'm glad you like girls, but they're a distraction. Don't do it.
Your dad Peter's saying this.
My dad Peter's saying this.
Man.
And my mom was always like super concerned about it because she was like, well, is this gonna like make him not want to date or be uncomfortable about dating or having a girlfriend or not talk to us about it, yada, 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 all that parenting stuff that goes along with raising a child.
Has winning Indy helped your dating life?
Well, I started dating my now girlfriend in January of 17. And I'd like to think that she had never even heard of the Indy 500 before, so I like to think that it was irrelevant.
I got to ask you, the whole knee thing before you get in a car,
Oh, you
race
noticed
car,
that?
What's going on there?
Has anyone else noticed that? Or is that
I don't know.
You're the first person to bring it up.
Really?
Yeah. I'm working the left and right side of my brain and getting them to work together. So
Really? So it's like an exercise for your brain?
For my mind.
Hinch is doing the same thing now. Did you know that? In Long Beach, he did the same thing.
It didn't work.
All right, we're here.
I'm excited.
Check this out. Clearly ready for the race. But don't you live like 5 minutes from here?
I do. And being from Northern California, you'd think I'd know where all the wineries are.
Where the wineries are, exactly. Wow, look at the back home wine. How appropriate is that for the month of May?
Very appropriate. It seems to be the theme this month.
It's kind of a thing. Mark Easley is here from Easley Winery. Okay, tell us about this. How did you come up with this, Mark?
Well, obviously in Indiana, the month of May, you're going to think of the back home song. It's a semi-sweet white and red for the 500 Festival.
So were these grapes grown with the intention of it being bottled as this wine? Or?
Yeah, they were planted about 4 years ago, and we harvested them last fall, and then have fermented them and have them ready just in time here for May.
Awesome.
Everything's a countdown towards May.
Right? Cheers, man.
Good luck on race day, okay? Alexander Rossi, 2 for the Road, here on RTV6.
Tomorrow night, it's another edition of our Emmy Award-winning Trackside 6 specials. Day First and Brad Brown live from IMS. An exclusive interview with last year's Indy 500 Rookie of the Year, Robert Wickens. He's as determined as ever to get back in a race car. Also exclusive features with Graham Rahal and Ryan Hunter-Ray. Throwback Thursday with 2-time 500 winner Gordon Johncock. It's all tomorrow night at 7:30, only on RTV6. We are back with the rest of tonight's news at 11 next.
Banking, a Fifth Third better.
Starting tomorrow, you can enjoy a night at the movies along the Canal in downtown Indianapolis. Movies will be shown once a month through August. Tomorrow's movie is Grease. How fun. It starts at dusk around 9:15. The event is free to watch on land if you're 21 or older and want to watch from in the canal while floating on an inner tube. That costs $20 and comes with 2 beers.
I've got chills, and they're multiplying.
Chilly.
I'm going like that because thunderstorms may be a problem tomorrow night.
We'll keep an eye on that. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.